All right, I'm live. It's been a while since I've held the phone to do this live, but I viewed that much. Even though, admittingly, topics like this are not viewed as often on this channel as I would like them to be, I figured I wanted to do a quick little update on this particular topic that we discussed this morning about the school who showed The Lion King at a fundraiser event and was fined $250 for the screening, or at least a third of the money that was raised. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and welcome to my channel. And hey George, how you doing? So glad you could join us. So I did a video this morning, and granted the story was a couple days old, so this is why there's like a fast turnaround. But to kind of summarize it really quick, school decides they want to do a fundraiser. That's fine. They decide they're going to show The Lion King because people love The Lion King. That's fine too. Worst thing about this whole situation, the version of The Lion King they watch is the live action one. Well, live action one. It's the remake. So that's probably the thing that sucks the most about this. But what's the outcome of said situation? Well, school raises about $1,000. That's great. What happens? Disney somehow finds out that the screening took place, and they send the school a bill for $250 for unauthorizing, or how should I say this? For showing the movie unauthorized in public and charging for it. I mean, granted, nobody's profiting. It's a charity event, but even so, Disney wanted their cut. They wanted their cheddar. Well, anyway, story breaks out. Even I talk about it on this channel earlier today. And CEO Bob Iger gets wind of it. Well, actually, before we get to him, the reason the story blows up is because people's love for Disney is at an all-time high. People's trust in Disney is at an all-time low. This is the company, as I mentioned before, who has actually sued kindergartens or adolescent schools for painting pictures of Disney characters on the wall without their permission. So when Disney is going after this school who raised $1,000 from this Lion King screening and were then asked to pay like $250, this is like to help prepare the school and the playground and stuff like that. You know, it created this situation where, like, really, Disney? Do you really need that money? Oh, hi Lisa, how you doing? Do you really need that $250? Point that I didn't mention this morning, Blu-ray was bought. It was bought at the store. It wasn't even streamed on Disney Plus or anything. It was bought at the store, so anyway. Well, Bob Iger finds out about it because of course he's going to, and he has made a public statement. Now, I don't have it in front of me. That's one of the downsides of having to do this on the phone. But basically, he's apologized for what happens. He said that this was not the right thing to do. They will not be collecting that fee, and he will personally be donating to the school. Most likely, it will be way more than the $1,000 they raised, which, hey, you know what? Good for the school. I mean, this is one of those things where, I mean, and here's the thing, the school wasn't going to fight this or anything. The school wasn't going to sue Disney. I mean, they technically didn't have a case. I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, did the school break copyright law? And it's like, technically, yes. But did they break the spirit of the copyright law? No, they didn't. So that's where it gets complicated. Now, Lisa asks, I wonder what made him do that, and that's pretty obvious, because this is just not a good look. This is not a good look. I mean, again, as I mentioned way earlier, people's love for Disney, all-time high. People's trust in Disney, all-time low. And Disney is a company that likes to control the narrative, that likes to always portray them in the best possible light. That's why when they raise theme park ticket prices, they act like they're doing you a favor. Hey, you know how crowded it is in the parks? Guess what? We're raising the prices to thin out those crowds. Which, then once the crowds got thinned out, then they started offering deals to get people back into the parks, because that's not really what it was about. And when they buy 20th Century Fox, they're like, we are investing in the studio and all these IPs, all these properties, and all of these wonderful people making movies. And the first thing they start doing is they start canceling projects and firing people, because they didn't really want the studios. They wanted the IPs and to take a competitor out. So this situation comes along, and Disney charges the school $250 to show this movie because they didn't get permission to. The story catches on, and first of all, this makes Disney look bad. That's the bad news. The good news is this is a relatively easy fix. That's why the CEO comes out. He says, hey, this was a mistake. This is not how we want to do things. We're not going to collect on that, and I'm going to personally be donating. It's a very easy way to have the fairy tale ending. Heck, you might even say, hey, it's a positive that this happened. And yet there's still concerns, because it still begs the question, how did this little event, this almost insignificant event, how did Disney even get wind of it in the first place? Why did they feel emboldened that they were going to go after the school for a mere $250? Again, in Disney money, that's like asking for a nickel. Like, they just released 9 movies that grossed $1 billion or more, including this one, and they need a $250 from a school that's not even profiting from the screening. They're just trying to raise money to fix their school and their playground. I mean, what is wrong with them? Like, that's why the story got big. That's why it blew up. That is why people were pissed, and that's why I think Bob Iger ultimately realized this wasn't worth it. Like, as they say, there are some mountains worth dying on, and there are some mountains that aren't. Now, granted, if Iger had been the one making the call from the beginning, I don't think he would have asked them to do this. I think he would have said, let it go. I think he, as much as I don't like him personally, he's got a lot of business sense, and he probably knew that, hey, this story was going to get out, and it was not going to look good, and heck, we don't even need that money. Maybe, I think he would have been more sensible than that. But whoever was on the other end pulled the trigger, and now they have to clean up this little itty-bitty scandal that they have found themselves in. And I don't think we're going to be talking about it a whole lot longer. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this quick little live stream, to give you the update now, because, like, here's the thing. You would think that they would have programs to offer things like that. I mean, it's chill. Disney does do a lot of charities, particularly the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is interesting because a lot of people say, like, oh, the Make-A-Wish Foundation is generous. They take dying kids to Disneyland. It's like, well, Disney owns the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like, it doesn't cost them anything to send a kid to Disneyland, but they can sure write off that expense. So, that's their main charity. It's a way that they can give back to the community by taking very little out of pocket, but getting a big, huge tax write-off. So, again, I don't want to poo-poo it too much. What they do is a good thing in that regard, but they have their way. So it was just an unfortunate situation all around. It should have never gotten to this point. And then again, I think the worst thing about it was all this stress and anguish for the school, and it wasn't even the 1994 animated classic. It was the 2019 photorealistic reimagining that nobody likes, and I picked as the worst film of last year. That's the version that they used to raise the money. They might have made double their money had it been the animated classic. I don't know. And that's the one that Disney decided they didn't, But hey, happy endings, right? Like, I'm happy that it worked out this way, and, good for them. So the funny thing is, you might notice I'm in the car. That's because Katie's, like, out getting Starbucks. But, yeah, kind of on the road. The next few days of videos are going to be, like, pre-recorded. So if there's some breaking news that happens in the next 4 days or something like that, it's going to have to be done on this cell phone live stream type thing because I'm not going to have access to my computer. But, you know, that's life. Anyway, I talked about this for 10 minutes. I see her kind of waving that she's ready to go. So anyway, I will talk to all of you folks later. There will be some videos tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. And again, it's just, if there's going to be like a breaking news story, it's probably going to have to be done this way. But anyway, what do you think about this? I would like to know if you thought this was, hey, this is like a good thing, or do you think this should have never happened? Are you still suspicious of Disney? I'd like to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.